Hey, what up, everyone? How's it going? And welcome to my new place. I just moved in yesterday, last night. Actually, this place is, for the last 3 months, has been my favorite sushi place that I've uh, ever had. Like, I love sushi, but I haven't been into sushi for that long. Kind of got into it in a huge way, I'd say 3 years ago. And it's funny because for the biggest part of my life, being aware of sushi, I always had this belief system, we can call it, or this belief, this mental story about myself and sushi. And the mental story was always, no, it's not for me, it's not my personality, and I would always be strong about it's too small, it's too expensive, it's cold, I like big, hot meals. Anyway, proof that any of us can change with the right type of mentality. I never would have thought I would become a sushi person. And, now it's one of my favorite things of all. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's really amazing. Something that was my the least likely thing that I would get into now is my favorite thing of all. And why? Because of a change of mentality. Funnily enough, it was a moment in my life of, major change that for some reason enabled me to allow a new way of thinking. Okay, so remember, yeah, whenever we're going through difficult times, breakdowns, breakups, anything difficult, losing your job, losing your house, any time in your life that's really hard and challenging as Albert Einstein said, very cleverly, he said, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Yeah, and me being the terrible comedian that I am, I think in the middle of difficulty lies difficult. Difficult. Get it? Okay. No more of that, I promise. So, here's the thing. This video is going to be about two things. Like, I wanted it to be about oil pulling, coconut oil pulling, which, it's something that I've been doing now since 2010. So it's been about, good solid 6 years of doing it, and I just wanted to put a video out there on my experience with oil pulling. This is coconut oil right here. This is the one that I've been using here in Thailand. Okay. And coconut oil pulling is basically just a fancy way of saying, using coconut oil as like mouthwash, but, not swallowing, not spitting it out for about 5 minutes. So just kind of swishing it around in your mouth. Before those of you tune out who are not interested in this, let me kind of go back to the other part of this video, which started off with this sushi restaurant that it's the best sushi I've ever had in my life. Happens to be here in the south of Thailand. 30-year sushi chef. The name of this place is called AOI Sushi. I even put a review of it up on TripAdvisor. But incredible sushi, and it's basically was recommended to me by a Japanese expat who lives here, and she suggested it, which, by the way, was a date that I went on, which was a horrible date. I couldn't stand her. It was just a terrible date. Like, it was like oil and water, and I couldn't wait for the date to be over. But another lesson of how things can affect your life. I mean, this date was probably the worst date that I've ever been on. I literally was crawling out of my skin to get out of it, to leave, to say goodbye, to drop her home and just get back to my house. But even from this horrible, horrible date, look how it's affected my life. I wouldn't be in this room making this particular video. I wouldn't be living in this room if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for meeting this person. I wouldn't have had the best sushi of my life if it wasn't for meeting this person. So I guess there's a theme now evolving in this video, which is how the best things can come out of the worst situations. Okay, and to me that doesn't, that's not such a far-fetched notion, because there, I've talked in my previous videos about this pendulum effect. How where if you have a pleasure spike, if you do something that feels incredibly good, without naming names, one of my clients who I'm working with, recently got back with his ex just temporarily for like some mind-blowing sex, makeup sex. And look, there's no better sex, at least that I have experienced, than that makeup sex. When you've been away from someone that you've been fighting with and a breakup with, and then you get back together. It's like the best sex of all. But you've got to identify that as a pleasure spike. It's because, it's like you've been away from your drug for like a month, and then you have your drug. It's going to be even better than if you're just taking it every day. Okay, but with great pleasure, with a great ups, always come with them great downs, and or the potential for great downs. In fact, to be honest with you, from my perspective, 90% of the time, whenever you go on a, it's usually stimulation. That's the word that I like to use. Whenever you do anything that's incredibly stimulating, whether it's sex, eating delicious food, whatever it is, the absence of that thing is going to result in the opposite feeling. Okay? So this person now, my client, who had this mind-blowing, incredible sex, is not feeling very well today. Okay? Feeling the opposite feeling of that. Okay? So, and it works the opposite way. If you do something that's, if you have a horrible, terrible, bad day, or if you have a horrible, terrible, bad dream, and you wake up from it, you feel amazing because it wasn't true, the dream wasn't true. If you have a horrible, terrible, bad experience, and that experience ends, it's just, you feel euphoric, you feel amazing. So, very, very, very often, but unfortunately, humans, we for some reason, we just have difficulty seeing and understanding this. But very often, from great difficulty comes incredible opportunities. Like this horrible date, the worst date I've ever been on in my life. I can say that with confidence. Produced the best sushi I've ever had in my life. Produced a place for me to stay, because above this sushi restaurant, they actually have 10 or so rooms, and beautiful little Japanese style rooms, as you can tell by the beautiful shutters behind me. And this room is better, has a better vibe, has a better energy, has a better feel to it. It's got a really beautiful view as well out there. It's just a better room for me than where I had been staying for the last 2 or 3 months. So, if you're going through a very difficult time right now, you may not be aware of the opportunities that are available for you, and perhaps those opportunities are just going to come out naturally without your awareness. But being aware can sometimes help you maximize the potential of those opportunities, so that when those opportunities start to arise, you'll identify them, you'll guide them, you'll nurture them, and you'll take full advantage of them. Okay? So, going back to oil pulling, okay? Some of you out there who follow my videos, my channel, might be interested in my way of life, the way I live. And you know, coconut oil pulling has been an important part of it. I wouldn't say huge critical part, but you know, just as with the cold showers, this is just another aspect of the way I live my life. Okay, and when you're faced with a very difficult situation in life, these are the sorts of things that are going to help strengthen you. So I like to find as many of them as possible, because I'm not going to incorporate all of them into my life. I'm going to incorporate the ones that connect and resonate with me the most. Okay, so I might read and get advice, just find maybe 1,000 different things that are great for my health, great for my mind, great for my body, just great for my continuous improvement. But I'm going to maybe pick out of 1,000, maybe 100 things that actually work for me, that I like. So coconut oil pulling is one of them, and basically what it is, as I said at the beginning, it's like when you swish coconut oil in your mouth, the purpose of it is to strengthen your gums, to clean your teeth. I mean, there are a lot of claims as to what it does. I've been doing this now for about 6 years. I started off my first year doing it almost every day, maybe not doing it on the weekends, but just almost every day. I was doing it very religiously. It's a difficult thing to do at first, because the taste, because you've got to be kind of patient, and your mouth is kind of like held hostage for a while, because you've got to be doing that for 5 minutes. You've got to at least do it for 5 minutes. But then I figured out a way to do it for myself that works easier. So like in the morning when I wake up, I'll jump in the shower, and before I jump in the shower, I'll just like put about a teaspoon in to my mouth. You don't want to put too much in your mouth, just like a teaspoon's enough. Just enough to be able to like wash your teeth. So don't get all scientific about how much you need to put, but just enough to be able to swish around. What's going to happen is, as you're doing this, more saliva is going to build up, and so you're going to start off with maybe a teaspoon of stuff in your mouth, and with all the saliva it's going to get more and more, and there's going to be a lot of stuff swishing around. So there's a lot of claims to what this does. I'm not, let me try to list some of them. They say that it whitens your teeth, cleans your teeth, the process like extracts a lot of toxins through your gums out of your body. There's you can go online and read all the claims of why this is such a good thing. I'm only going to tell you why I believe it's good, based on doing this for 6 years and what I have seen. Whitening teeth? No, not really, okay? It helps, I guess, prevent staining, because it cleans your teeth. But any staining existing staining, I don't see, much of a reverse effect. But it cleans your teeth, so it's, going to help prevent staining. It's going to slowly make your teeth cleaner and perhaps whiter, but it's not going to make them like crazy white or anything like that. Okay, but the main advantages for me have been that, okay, so coconut oil basically has some incredible properties to it. There's people that have documented like even antiviral, antibacterial properties. Any oil in general, if you use it, can remove a lot of dirt. Like if you have if you pull a price tag off a jar and it leaves that gluey thing. If you ever get coconut oil on a napkin or something, you can rub that off really easily. And I guess other oils will work too. So oils, and coconut oil is not the only oil you can use for oil pulling, but that's the one I would recommend because of its antibacterial, even antiviral. It has a lot. It's a incredible oil. It's a really good oil. So for me, the benefits have been it cleans your teeth really well, and I'm talking about like the plaque even. The hard plaque that can build up on your teeth. Coconut oil, if you do it consistently, it's going to break all that stuff down, and it's really good for cleaning your teeth because I guess the friction, the oil, just when you're swirling it, even the hard plaque and all of that kind of stuff over time will dissolve and it will get worn out. So coconut oil is really great for cleaning your mouth and cleaning your teeth. For me, that's the number one thing. Number two is the antibacterial and antiviral properties of coconut oil. So, as you're swishing all this around your mouth for 5 minutes, it's killing all the bacteria. It's cleaning your mouth again. So good for, bad breath, things like that. But look, if you have bad breath, number one thing I've ever learned in my life is flossing. Because for me, I've noticed most bad breath, and others or myself, has come from when you don't floss. There's little bits of food, tiny even, that you might not be able to see that will remain in your teeth, and they're going to rot. And as it rots, it stinks, okay? So it makes sense that you need to get that out of your mouth, okay? And the other thing is when the food starts rotting in between your teeth, the bacteria and the stuff that's excreted, the results of that rotting can create cavities as well, okay? So I didn't go to the dentist for about 7 years. Some of you out there are like, what? But it's true. I didn't go to the dentist for about 7 years, and I was doing, I take care of my health. I try my best to take care of my health. And I went to the dentist about 2 years ago, and I had, knock on wood, no cavities, nothing wrong with my teeth. Everything was fine. So flossing, very important. Also your diet. I cut all the sodas, juices. They're the worst. You got to even watch out for fruit. There's a lot of people out there who, especially like new age hippie vegan or fruitarians they're called, who will preach about how they just have a diet of fruit. One of the huge things you got to watch out for if you are one of just eating fruit or a lot of fruit is, yes, fruit can be very healthy, but a lot of fruit is, most fruit out there is unnatural. It's not, I'm not talking about organic versus unorganic. Even the organic fruit out there, a lot of it, most of it is unnatural because it's been bred. It's been selectively bred for, decades, if not centuries. So an orange didn't look like that, 1,000 years ago. Apples didn't look or taste the way they do. We've been selectively picking, the juiciest, the sweetest, and then we, just like we've done to cows and animals. Cows didn't look like the way they are today. We've picked them, we've bred them to be fat and lazy or whatever to give us the most tastiest meat. So it's very important to keep these things in mind, when we're feeding our bodies. So the thing to watch out with fruit is the sugar, like mangoes, pineapples, or other very sweet fruits. If you're eating them regularly, they can destroy your teeth. That's how you can get cavities and things like that. So listening to your body, whenever you have sensitive teeth, that's your body speaking to you, saying, hey, you're doing something that you need to chill out on. So that's when you've got to scan through your habits or your diet, find out what you're doing. So with the coconut oil, it cleans your teeth, cleans your mouth. As far as the pulling out toxins out of your body, I don't know. Actually, one of the things I'm looking forward to buying when I get back to California is a microscope. I'm really interested to like start putting things under a microscope, even perhaps my own blood, or just anything. Just I want to see like stuff, you know, what's going on. I'm really excited about doing that, and hopefully that's going to enhance my videos too. I can share what I discover with everyone. It's not that I don't trust. Hold on a second. Okay, it's not that I don't trust all the research and everything that's out there. Of course I do, but I'm interested also to learn things firsthand myself. Helps me understand things better. So oil pulling, highly recommend it. One of the other advantages of it is that it actually helps. It's very meditative. It puts you in the present moments. It's because you're doing this, your attention gets drawn to what you're doing. So for that period of 5 minutes, it's quite a meditation, because your attention is focused on one thing, which is what meditating, one of the aspects of meditating is, it's focusing your attention on something. So in a way, I'm also getting to practice my meditation as I'm doing it. So it's something I highly recommend, and maybe you can try out. And I usually brush my teeth regularly after I do my oil pulling, because I like that feeling of the that fresh minty taste of toothpaste. Now I buy better toothpaste without the fluoride and all of that, because fluoride, I do believe, is just this very it's crazy. They use it to clean industrial shit. I'm not sold on it being good for your body. So, coconut oil pulling. That's sort of the idea that I wanted to share with everyone on this video. So check it out, and don't forget the other part of this video, which was how in great difficulty lies great opportunity. So if you're suffering, if you're going through depression, loneliness, if you're suffering for any reason, realize that there is a pendulum. Tell yourself, remind yourself, it's not going to last. This pendulum will swing to the other side. So become aware of the pendulum in your life. How your moods swing from one to another. Be aware. Does it happen from day to day? Does it happen from hour to hour, week to week? Start to become aware of yourself, of your body, how it's working. Many of us, we live, sort of in a nice way, and then something traumatic happens, and it kind of creates this sort of, pendulum. And then we sort of continue moving forward in life, but it's like this, until we can restabilize it again, and then find our flow, right? So be aware of how your moods can shift, and remember that when things are bad, there is tremendous opportunity there, okay? So, yeah, I'm off now to go downstairs and eat some sushi, and in case any of you are wondering, I will put a picture up on this video of what the sushi looks like. It's incredible. This guy, he's actually Thai. He's a 30-year sushi chef, dedicated. Sushi is his life. He was hired by a Japanese businessman who took him with them to Dubai, and he was their personal chef, cooking for them. And it says a lot, actually, because Japanese would more likely have a Japanese chef. Just in my view, I don't know. I wouldn't say that's fact, but that's just something that I would think from the Japanese people that I have met and what I know of them. But Thai guy, incredible chef, and this place is usually quite empty, except for some Japanese people who will come in and have a quick bite to eat. And he puts a lot of love into his work. So just the same way that I do jiu-jitsu, and I, devoted to that and my self-improvement, this person's like a mastering his craft of sushi. And even through food, you can share wonderful energy and love, and it can change people's lives. When I eat his sushi, it makes my day feel better. It's not only great for my body, it's avocados, salmon, good fats, good oils. He puts a little bit of rice, not too much. So it's enough rice to help me digest my food, enough carbs to help me digest. But there's some seaweed in there, so it's really healthy food, really healthy food. Okay, so be aware of the stories you tell yourself, like, I'm not a sushi person. I'm not, I'm this, I'm this. If you do that, you're going to box yourself in. And the more you box yourself in life, the more there's going to be possibility of struggling and suffering. And the suffering and struggling happens because you want to break this box open. You want to be free. We all want to be free. And allow our bodies and our minds to dance and enjoy life to its full potential. And it can't be that way if you're going to keep yourself boxed in. Okay? So work on that every day, being more free, being more open, being, less closed, less, less of a story of who you think you are. Okay? Open that story up, expand it more. Remember, I've said this in my other videos. Someone I like, who I've been a fan of for a long time. Joe Rogan says it also. He says, "Be the star in your own movie." Yeah. So think of your life as a movie, and you're writing the chapters. You're creating what's going to happen. What's going to happen next? Make it something awesome. Alright, I'm out of here for now. Talk to you guys soon, okay? And I hope you guys are cool with the new background. Alright, talk soon. Bye.